Hi guys, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever time zone you're in. So, I hope that by this time you will all already be experts of PacketTracer and um, having all the or using the naming conventions. What are the required configurations, the minimum requirement, and how to do rip routing. No, so I just allowed you to have a taste of the very easy things, no, just for you to build up your skill set, no. So maybe by this time I know you already know how to connect routers and switches and computers. This one is actually something very quick that I'm doing. This is just an auto cabling thing. No? So when you're in a hurry, you can do this. But of course, I want to be sure that all of you know how to make use of the different cables. So you know already how to do that, but I just want to show you this one. Um, this is our lab for today. So here in this lab, it says here, this router 1 is a DCE, and then for this connection, and then router 2 is the DCE for this connection. So for that, what do we mean by that? So we get this one with a timer, and since this is the DCE, this would be the starting point, and then you just choose the first one, 010. If you chose 010 here, make sure you also choose 010 here. Okay, and then for the other one, it should be the same. Okay, so from here, so this one is 011. Then for here should also be 011, just so you will not be confused. But of course, you can use whatever is the available um, interface. Okay, so this one is DCE would be for the clocking. So this would DCE means that would be the router that would be um, controlling the clocking between these two routers. No. Okay. Okay, so let's do our labeling according to our lab today. So this is what we're going to have. Um, this one would be R2. Okay, just for the sake of this laboratory, so you're not going to be confused. I'm just going to follow the naming convention the in that lab. Okay, so you can just do this yourself. You just continue. And to guide me with the interface numbers. Okay, let's look at the preferences and then show port labels. So we just turn this on for now, just so we won't make a mistake with the labels. So okay, so after we have labeled it nicely, then we can turn off the labels. Okay, so we will have a nicer interface here. Okay, so these are the only things we need. Now we put in the IP addresses. So there, I've put in the IP addresses nicely on top, but we need to label the interfaces, which is down here in the addressing table. So let me do that. Okay, so as you can see here, I have nicely plugged in the values. So this is a good trick also, especially if you're already having too many routers. Just put in .1 and .2 here, knowing that this will be this is the network address. So this would be 172.16.2.1, and this will be 172.16.2.2. Okay. Okay, let's start. Hold on. There's also another one thing I want to teach you, especially if you're going to use the same configuration, and it's possible that you already have an existing configuration. Like when you click on this one, you can see that there's already a host name. So This is something that you don't usually do, but I will just teach you one and only one time only how to erase the configuration of a router. Okay, so what you will do would be to use the command write erase. This is one. Or you can use, because that's the older one. The older configuration makes use of the word write. Or you can just use erase and then erase start. Okay, so you can either use write erase or erase start and then enter, then continue, confirm. Okay, but after you have confirmed, can you see that you still have the host name configuration as you can see here with the cursor. So the next thing you have to do is you have to type reload. Then you have to confirm again, and there you go. So let's wait for this for a while. And there you go. Would you like to enter the initial configuration dialog? Of course, we say no because we're going to configure our router. So here, as you can see, we have wiped out all the configurations in that particular router. So are you ready to do configuration? First, okay, you just do all what I've taught you before. Just put in all the IP addresses and the required initial configuration. Okay, so make sure no that it is part of your habit to put in passwords, and especially the passwords for remote access. Okay, so I will pause the video again and do all those configuration yourselves, and then we will go to the configuration proper for static routes. Okay, let me just configure this router. Okay, I'm already in config mode, so I go to the interface G00, and what's the network there? 192.168.2. Okay, IP address 192.168.2.1. That one. Ito 255.255.255.0, no shot. And then configure this interface. Interface S011, IP address. So this is our network, and then that one, 192.168.1.1, subnet mask 255.255.250, no shot. So make sure that this one, although it's green already, but it's always good practice to make sure that everything pings first, no? So I will just use from last time I taught you the word do is, you can do all the commands in whatever level. So I say do ping, I will ping, I'm from R3, I will ping R2, so that would be that 2, no? So 192.168.1.2, and yes, we are connected. Then we connect this PC3. Okay, config, this is the only interface here, so we just put the IP address 192.168.2.10, and yes, there you go. So again, you have to make sure every time you configure an IP address before going anywhere else, you have to make sure this is going to ping first. So you can use the desktop and then command prompt ping 192.168.2. This is 10, right? So this one is 1, 2.1. So there you go. You are connected. So needless to say, we're not going to put in here any more default gateway, because the default gateway would automatically be this IP address, that one, no? The one that is connected to the router. Okay. So we're done with all the configuration. Now we're ready to do our laboratory. Okay, so, but before we start, ako, meron pa palang before we start. I'd like to show you this um, command, no? Called the debug IP routing. Let's make it bigger. There you go. debug IP routing. So what is this one? Okay, this is a command. It helps you know when the routes are added, modified, and deleted from the routing table. Okay, so that is our ultra important part of the lesson today. Is all about the routing table. Okay, and how do you know or how do you access the routing table? What is the command again? Forgot already. Command is, let's get out of here. Command is show IP route. So from here, you can see that the routing table of R1, it's directly connected to C, means C as in directly connected to this network. Then it says local, so which means that is the one that is connected to its dot one. And then it's also directly connected to this network 16.3.0, and local means it is one, that one directly connected to it, 162.3.1. Okay, so I hope that's clear. Okay, so let's add the debug IP routing. Okay, you can just type it here, IP routing. Okay, and then you just add it to the other three routers. And debug IP routing. And also this other one. And debug IP routing. Okay, so I've actually skipped, no, because I already showed you. These are the ones, the required configuration, right? So we're here already. We're already on this page, interpreting debug output. So you can just play with this one. Okay, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. So for example, we are in R3, right? This one is R3. What happens if I turn off this interface, R2? Let's see what happens. Config T, and then what is that? S011. Interface S011, and then I put shut. Okay, so what happened to R3? There you go. You can see all this information. It's deleted from the routing table. Okay, so let's put it back up. Interface S011. No shot. So it's back up. And what happens to R3? There you go. It says add. The route has been added again to the routing table. Okay. So let's move to, this is very, very good for troubleshooting, no? Especially when you don't know why there is no internet connectivity in one department. So you have to find where is the problem. So the debug IP routing is a very good command, although you have to be very careful when using this one because maybe you can just turn it on for one router but not for all the routers, no, because this takes up a lot of resources of the router and it can slow down your whole network. Okay, so anyway, I leave it up to you, this one, for you to answer all these questions. Okay. And now, where are we now? Okay, this is another one. Enter the clock rate command. Remember I was telling you a while back about DTE, DCE. So this one is actually the DCE. I didn't add it here. This one is the DCE. And This one is the DCE. So we're going to add that configuration here. Um, it's very simple. You just go to that interface S011. Interface S011. And then type clock rate 64,000. Okay. So that means 64,000 bits per second. And we do the same with the other. Sorry, make sure you save and then do the same. This one is 011, okay, not 010. So let's do this. Interface as 011, and then you just type in the clock rate. Clock rate 64,000. What are the options that we have? So we have all this, but for the sake of, it really depends on what is the speed of your connection. So just for the sake of this laboratory, we just do 64,000 and then we do copy run start. Okay, so we're good with that. And next. Okay, let's proceed to, okay, even before we can go to the actual static routing, two very important commands that we need to know would be, what would be the show command to know the IP addresses of each of the interfaces and their state, no, if they're up, they're down, or whatever. Do show, what is it? Show, okay, let me go get out of this one. Okay, let's do this. Show IP interface brief. Okay, so this is for you to see if all your interfaces are up. Okay, so they're all up. Okay, this one is down because we don't have anything connected to 01. Okay, and then for VLAN, this is down. We don't worry about that for now. Okay, how about to look at all the routing table again? What is the show command for the routing table? Show IP, what is it? Show IP route. Okay, so this one you can see. So right now we don't have any routing protocols, no configuration, no static route, no routing protocol. So what you see is only C for connected and L for local. Okay, so now we're ready to do our static routes. But first of all, why do you need the static route? Okay. Okay. So all network administrations must know how to do static routes because of many reasons. But the one that is most common right now is that this is for security purposes. So for example, this PC is just supposed to be the only one that can access this router, but the rest cannot access, no? It's like this router can only be administered by the person who is sitting at this PC. So you would have to create a static route so that your packets will go from here to here to here and going back and going back. So with RIP routing, what you did was just configure RIP here and then just declare all the network addresses around, and that's it. The same here, no? You configure RIP and then you just use the network command and declare 172.16.2.0 and then this one 172.16.3.0 and that's it. And the same for this one. And when you configure RIP for all three, everything else is reachable. But for security purposes, especially for access, access to routers or to network devices, you would have to have you need to control what devices can only access those routers or those devices. So that's one use for static route. The other use for static route is as backup. So for example, you have RIP routing over here, and then suddenly all the RIP configuration went down, or it was erased, there was hacking, that was erased. At least if you have your static route to your devices from your administrator PC, then you can still access the routers. Otherwise, you are totally um, going to be out of touch of the router. So you would have to go down to the center, to the data center, and you would have to do direct access to the devices that you need to configure. Okay, for this exercise, let's try to make PC2 and PC3 um, connect. Okay, so right now there's no routing configuration, so you're sure that PC2 will not be able to ping PC3. But let's go ahead and test it ourselves. So here, ping, what is the IP address of PC? 192.168.2.10. 192.168.2.10. Of course, there's no connection. So the first thing we're going to do is put the route. Okay, so this is your destination route. Okay, by the way, I put in the formula here for IP static route, no? IP route, then destination IP.nets. And then after that, subnet mask, and then next hop IP interface. The rest here are all ooh, all optional. Okay, so let's do that. Let's try it with this one. Config T, and then we do IP route. IP route 192.168.2.0. Okay, it can be, actually you can use it, just put 2.10, and but then that would be just this PC, no? But you can actually use the network, this whole network, in case there are other PCs connected here. Okay, and then the next one is, this is the destination IP or net, and then subnet mask would be 255.255.255.0, and then says here next hop IP or interface. So this is your R2, right? And this is your R3. When you say next hop, then that would be this one, next hop. So you can actually put S011, or the IP address of this one would be 192.168.1.1. Okay, so let's try first the interface S011. Okay, and that's it. As you can see, we have the debug on. That's why the route has been added. Okay, so again, don't forget to save. So now let's look at the IP routing table here. Show IP route. So you can see you already have a static route that says that it's going to, it has a route. When the packet from PC2 comes here, it will know that there is a route going to 192.168.2.0, and it is going out this way. Okay, it's gonna go out this way. Okay, so do you think you can already ping PC2 to PC3? There's already a route going this way to this way, this here. So you can actually check, you can do ping, but I will tell you it's not going to happen. No. because you have not configured router 3. Okay, so let's configure router 3. It's the same. Okay, so there's no password here. I'm just doing this for the sake of, so it will be easier for you. Okay, IP route. Config T first, then IP route. Oh, okay. What are we installing here? Well, let's try to trace it. So packet from here wants to send to 192.168.2.0. Okay, so it will come here, says here. So show IP route. Okay, so there is this route. And it's directly connected via 011. Okay, 011. So the packet is going to go out. From here, let's see. Is there a route? Show IP route. Is there a route going to 192.168.2.0? What do you think? 190. Absolutely, because it's directly connected. Okay? So now, your packet can actually go to PC3. So, can we ping it? Meron na siyang route, right? But can we ping? 192.168.2.10? Of course not. Why? Because there is a route going but not a route returning. Okay. Because when you click this one, okay, from here, right? 192.168.2.10. To return, the packet's destination would be this time, 172.16.1. But when you come here, come to this router, there is no 172.16.1 network. Okay, so what do? We configure an IP or static router. Route. So what is our destination this time? It's 172.16.1.10. Okay, so 172.16.1.0 and 255.255.255.0. And what is our next hop IP address from here? The next hop would be this one. This is the directly connected interface, and that is the IP address. Okay, so this one, you're telling it that it's going to get out from S011. S011. Okay, so now you have added it. So let's look at the routing table. Now you have a route going to 172.16.1 static. Okay, so from here. So when the packet goes here, is there a route going to 172.16.1.0? Absolutely, because it's directly connected. Okay, so now, do you think we can already ping? Okay, so what happened? Why is PC2 not able to ping PC3? The routes are already in the routers. Okay, so let's do a little troubleshooting. First, I know naka-green siya, right? But let's just make sure, no? Can PC2 ping router 2? Okay, something very basic. So let's do that. Ping 172.16.1.1. Ito yon, di ba? Ito. Dapat mapiping niya. Okay, you can ping. So, there's no problem pinging this one because they're directly connected. no? And they belong to the same network. So, can I ping PC2 to that 2 here? Okay. Can I ping it? Wala na, hindi na makalabas. Okay, what is the problem? What is the problem? Okay, so just imagine the packet. If the packet comes here, goes here, so this is the network, no? Okay, so troubleshooting time. So, if PC2 cannot ping PC3, what you will do now would be to do your troubleshooting piece by piece. Okay. So, as I have done a while back, I pinged PC2. I pinged from PC2, I pinged 172.16.1.1 dito. So, naping niya. Why? Bakit naping to? Because that's directly connected, right? And they're in the same network. Okay. So, let's try to ping this one and this interface. So, the same router. Yeah, when you look at it, actually, um, look at the routing table. Ah, mali. Ano ba to? Show IP route. If you see this, pagpunta rito, directly connected si dot 2, right? That's 192.168.1.2. 192 is directly connected. Actually, local siya. Tapos, directly connected yung network. Pero, okay, let's try. Let's try this. Baliktarin natin. From here, kasi nakabukas tayo dito. Ping natin si PC. Kasi ganun din naman eh. Yung packet is, kailangan may papunta, may pabalik. So, 172.116.1.10. Uy, nakakapasok siya. Bakit siya nakapasok? Eh kasi nga, ang tinitingnan niya, hindi itong interface na to. Ito siya. Kasi dito tayo sa R2 nagping. So, ang ginawa niya, direkto from here to here. Hindi siya dito kumuha sa dot 2 papunta rito. Okay. Okay, so let's do this again. So, kanina, no, when we did the ping, from here, going here, ang kinuha niyang interface is this dot one, the one that's directly connected to this, kaya nagping. So, let's try doing an extended ping, no? Then, extended ping, we are going to tell the router both the source and the target IP address. So, how do you do that? You say ping, then enter, IP, yes, enter ka na lang kasi IP tayo. Target IP address is 172.16.1.10. Repeat count, enter, enter na lang to. Enter. Ito, extended commands, make it yes. And then, sasabihin niya, source, address, or interface. So, now we use this interface. So, that would be, ito yon 192.168.1.2. Okay? So, 192.168.1.2. Okay? And then, enter, enter na lang. And, what happens? What happens? Magpiping ba siya? Magpiping ba? So, hindi siya magpiping. Bakit? Anong problema? Hindi makalabas ang packet mo. From here, hanggang dito lang siya, pero hindi na siya makalabas. Why? What is the problem? Because there is no instruction from the PC kung saan lalabas lahat ng packets. So, ang packets niya hanggang dito lang kasi wala siyang instruction dito. Paano ko sinasabing ganon? Click natin to. Tingnan natin yung configuration sa settings. the gateway. Dahil wala siyang gateway, hindi lumalabas yung traffic. So, lagyan natin ng gateway. So, the gateway should be this one. So, mangyayari dyan, pag nag-ping siya, may instruction from the PC2 na pagka lahat ng lalabas na packets, ang exit niya is the .1 interface. So, let's put it here. 172.16.1.1. Okay? Okay, so try natin ulit. Try natin ulit. Since nandito tayo, desktop, mag-ping tayo. So, once again, walang problema rito sa pag-ping dito kasi same network, no? Pero para lumabas siya, para ping natin, tingnan natin. Ping, ito, 192.168.1.2. 192.168.1.2. And, nag-ping na siya. Nagets nyo? Nakalabas na yung traffic. Baliktarin natin yung kanina. Ginawa natin, extended ping. Ping. Actually, you don't have to do this, but I just want to make sure that talagang lumalabas siya. Makikita ninyo. Sorry. I missed it. Okay. I missed it. So, I'll do it again. Ping, IP, enter, 172.16.1.10. Yes. Extended commands. Yes. Then, coming from this interface, no? 192.168.1.2. Charan! So, nagping na siya. Tingnan nga natin, lalabas ba siya hanggang dito? Tingnan natin. Okay? So, guys, pag nagto-troubleshooting kayo, talagang mga, segment by segment. So, ano na tayo? 192.168.1.1. 192.168.1.1. Yan. So, nagpiping na siya. Nakaabot. Dito, wala tayong problema kasi itong dalawang routers na to, nasa routing table, lahat na ng mga networks. Okay. So, ngayon, mapiping na ba natin si PC3? Okay, try natin. So, ping natin si 192.168.2.10. Ay, wala pa. Okay, so hula. What is the problem here? Why can PC2 not ping PC3? So, maybe it's the same problem, no? Pero, same problem as this one. Baka wala siyang default gateway. So, let us be sure with that. Actually, you can check directly. Or, if you want, kung babalik rin natin yung troubleshooting, kung ba pa ganun, kita natin dito, magpiping tayo. This one to this one, definitely magpiping siya kasi same network. No, 192.168.2.10, ito 192.168.2.1. So, definitely magpiping siya. 192.168.2.1. Directly connected. Pero kung lalabas na siya dito, ano ba to? .1. Ping 192.168.1.1. This interface. Wala na, hindi na makalabas, no? Because there's no instruction from this PC. Sa settings, walang gateway. Okay, 192.168.2.1. Ito siya. Ito yung gateway niya. Yung lalabasan. Okay? So, now, can we do it? Can we ping na? Piping natin si .1. Siyempre, meron na yan. So, makakaabot na kaya tayo dito sa PC2? 172.16.1.10? Of course. So, that is how it is. Madali lang siya. So, if I'm going to summarize the process, ganito lang siya. Okay. Let's use ito na. Summary of static route. First of all, no? First of all, when you configure PCs have to be configured with a default gateway. So this is the instruction that all packets will have to get out through that interface, which is the directly connected router. Yan. So, pareho siya, no? PC2 at saka PC3. Tapos, the second one is configure static route in R2. So, remember the formula, no? The formula for static route. Ito na siya. Gawin natin tong R2. So, IP route, yung destination IP or destination network. So, this one can be, ito yun no? 192.168.2.0. Tapos, subnet mask is /24 siya, 255.255.255.0. Tapos, next hop. Never mind this one. We don't need it for now. And then, the next hop IP. So, kung R2 tayo, right? Ang next hop IP would be this one. Okay? Or this, or it would be the directly connected interface. Directly connected interface number. Yan. O, so may correction pala ako dito. Okay. Next hop IP. Okay. And then, number 3, configure R2 and R3 na lang natin. Again, R2 and R3. Tapos, configure static route for the, yes, returning traffic. No? Returning traffic. Sorry. Dito lalagay na. You have to check the routing table palagi dito. Check the routing table using show IP route. Yan. Tapos yung fourth, configure static route for the returning traffic. So, ganun pa rin. Ganun pa rin yung formula niya. But the destination IP now would be, so from here going to here, destination IP now would be this one or this network, 172.16.1.00. This is for R2 and R3 then. R2 and R3. Okay. So, yung 5, ganun din. Check the routing table. Yan. So, this should work. Okay? So, now, what you try to do naman is, okay, what I have shown you pala, so here, sa R2, show run. Tingnan natin yung ginamit nyong IP route here. You use the directly connected interface, no? Ito siya, no? S011. Okay. So, let's try doing the static route from PC2 to PC1 this time. Okay. Now, in this time, instead of using the directly connected interface, we use the next hop IP. Okay. So, here, This is R2. Config T, and then we do IP route. Now, our destination now would be, gamitin natin tong uh, network na to. 172.16.3.0, and then subnet mask is 255.255.0. And now, dito tayo sa R2, no? Next hop IP, ito na siya. No? Kanina yung directly connected interface, pero ngayon, next hop IP, ito. Pareho din naman, kasi sinasabi mo lang, yung traffic should get out through this route. Ito tong cable na to. So, let's put in the IP address 172.16.2.1. Yan. Okay, nakita natin kasi naka-debug IP tayo. Nag-add na siya. Okay? So, let's do that. Okay, copy, run, start. Do not forget to save your files. And then, for this one naman, ganun din. Okay. Config. Sorry. For this one naman, papunta dito, hindi na natin kailangan maglagay ng IP route kasi directly connected to, right? So, ang gagawin natin ngayon sa R1 naman, yung pabalik na traffic. No? So, config T. And then, from here, 172.16, papunta siya ngayon dito sa network na to. So, IP route 172.16.1.0, 255.255.255.0, and nasan tayo? R1. So, gagamitin natin next hop IP dito. Ano yung IP? .2. 172.16.2.2. Yan, nakalagay na siya. So, do copy, run, start. Okay? So, tingnan nga natin. Ping natin. So, ping natin si eto, si PC1. Ping 172.16.3. Uy, wala. Bakit? O, sige nga. Gawin natin. Let's go leg by leg, no? The first leg. Alam na natin na magpiping to. Huwag na natin iping. Ping lang natin dito sa labas. Tingnan natin kung lalabas, ha. 1, dito sa, dito sa S010. So, .2 siya. So, ito, no? 172.16.2.2. Yes, lumalabas siya. Bakit? Kasi nga, merong default gateway dito. So, alam niya na papalabasin dito. How about this one? Mapiping ba niya to? 2.1. 172.16. Siyempre, mapiping siya. Ngayon, bakit ito hindi? Yes, you guessed it, no? It's the same problem we had a while ago, no? Wala siyang default gateway. So, ano yung default gateway natin dito again? Dito. Dapat dito siya lumabas, no? Ito, lahat ng traffic dito ang daan, kaya default gateway. So, that will be 172.16.3.1. Okay, so, let's see. Mapiping na natin ito. Ping. 172.16.1.10. Charan! Ayan, nagkita na natin. So, ganyan lang, guys, ang pag-configure ng static route. Okay, so what you do is, I want you to do, for our lab 5, to just follow the instructions in the lab guide. Okay, so happy configuring! Bye-bye!